Man, could it
Oh,
be
you bitch, and it's still red. Dude, I don't know what to do anymore.
Could it be my side, man? Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to sign off for a minute. Can you start your side? I'm going to sign off for a minute, and then I'm going to come back in. I want to see if maybe it's my internet that's clusterfucking us here.
I don't think so. It wouldn't make sense.
You don't think so?
There's no way that could be interrupting my fucking sends over to through Restream right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because your internet would be causing you to cut out, but it wouldn't fuck with.
Oh, yes, that's what happened on the first. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I lost them a couple times on the first episode.
Unless, of course, you are somehow on Fox's Wi-Fi, but that poses a different problem as to how he wouldn't know.
Cross borders. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the bitrate is still higher than it was before, but
I might just need a second.
Weird.
Also, it went somewhere else on the YouTube end. So I'm gonna need to grab a link and send it into the old link.
I need it as well, so I can send it back to my my Discord.
If technology is capable of shitting itself, it will, and I think that's just the lesson we've learned here.
It's pretty much. Oh, absolutely.
Hey,
I'm gonna send
right there. I just went to the Discord.
I'm just gonna send this into the Give No Fox podcast corner here.
Hold on.
So there y'all go. I'm gonna go to that other link that I had and send the new one, because welcome to using Restream. When shit breaks, you can't just restart it. It's fucking obnoxious.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
So,
fuck. Here, just to piss people off.
Oh shit! I don't even have the old live fucking thing. Damn it!
Sorry, what are we doing?
I don't even have the old live link. Son of a bitch.
Imagine the fucking power trip that must be when you eat a $120,000
banana installation. Oh, shit.
Just imagine the power you would feel eating that much money.
Yeah.
It's like fucking burning dollar bills.
Kind of, yeah.
I don't know.
God, you're reminding me of that fucking whole Richie Rich skit now in Robot Chicken.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. He's talking about his car, and he's like, if you want to talk about mileage, this thing goes 6 feet per tank of gas.
Hell yeah. Yo, you drive a van.
That's great. But yeah, I mean, I'm seeing the bitrate kind of equalize a little bit more. I don't know what that looks like to everybody, but
it looks a bit crunchy still, but it's not buffering yet. Knock on wood. Where's
we'll have to see how that goes. I mean, it's still red. Don't get me wrong, but oh wait, no, I think we might be bouncing back now. Back now. Now the bitrate skipped up to the thousands now. Where I apparently have a 41,000 bitrate. So
I'm just checking the old VOD because my name was yelled down, and I'm making sure that wasn't caught on audio.
Oh yeah, the internet gods hate me. So all right, cool. That was a fun outage. All right, so we seem to be back now. We seem to have bounced back. It might do that again. So
yeah, we're uncrunched.
Cool, excellent. I'll give everybody a minute to go ahead and bounce back over here. But yup, that was fun.
Yeah. I'm just going on the assumption nothing was picked up and they didn't hear anything.
I mean, none of us heard anything, so I think, you know. I think we would have heard it.
Absolutely.
Part 2 is live.
At least Fox would have heard it because it's his stream, so it would pick up anything he hears.
Yeah, you are correct. You are definitely correct on that one. But I'm glad it at least fucking bounced back right there. I feel like I just lost everybody who was attuned to everything earlier, though. But that's fine.
It is what it is.
I was about to consider actually just doing it on a hard recording. I gotta be honest with you. Because the funny thing was, the whole entire time that happened, right? I did not warble one bit while I was talking to you guys. Did I? Did I get all weird, like my connection was strange in the Discord?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, so I don't know what that was about.
All right, let's talk about the funny machine art now. I think
the funny machine art. Yep. So it is definitely about that time to move over to
the
art thing. So I'm going to go into like the history of it a little bit and what I had picked up for notes on the wiki article in a minute, though.
Nerd emoji.
We're just going to start with, should it be considered art? AI art. What is the difference here? Is there a difference? Ideas about that one, trying to segue over from what we define as arts over to, all right, cool. Now we have AI art generators. Is there a difference at all, if anything?
No, there isn't. I honestly think the people who are complaining about it, like majorly, like are just artists who are, like, as I was saying before, huffing the copium.
As Ed likes to say, I'm doing.
Listen, we all love to huff a little bit of copium, okay? It's like that South Park sketch, dude, where they're like huffing their own farts.
No, I genuinely believe that the only reason people are upset is because it's putting like other artists like potentially out of a job is what they're worried about.
Well, we'll definitely be getting into those too. Go ahead, Lavandarss.
I have a take, and I think Ed's gonna call me a copium huffer for it.
No,
I'm gonna wait until the end.
If you have an opinion,
don't wait till the end. It's your.
No, I'm gonna wait.
I'm not gonna say.
We're probably going to get into the thing because I'm going into all of the different controversies that people are talking about. So yeah, I will get there.
You might as well.
All right. Well, my thought is that the AI art itself, like the generated stuff, isn't art, but I think the bot itself is art.
Oh, that's an interesting take. That is an interesting take. I like that.
I don't think somebody who uses the generator can be considered the artist.
Thank you. Yeah.
Because you're just putting words in. But I think the programmer, the one who like puts together this sort of aesthetic thing, I think they are an artist in their own way.
Beautiful.
And I think that in a way it is art, but I don't think the stuff that it generates, I think that's just like a byproduct of the art, you know? Mm-hmm. But I think the actual programmer is the actual artist.
The funny thing is, I always see an overlap with that as well too. It's the funny thing about being a man that is in the fucking IT field as it is, right? Whenever it comes to making source code for being able to write things and whatnot, you will be surprised for anybody who has never tried to do coding before. The level of overlap between artistic concepts and coding. There is a crazy amount of overlap in similarity for it, even though one is looked at ideally as being very pragmatic while the other one is creative. You know what I mean?
Are three out of the four of us all in the IT field?
Probably.
I'm game design.
Oh, yep. We're all in it.
Yep. I'm probably going into cybersecurity.
In some way. Yeah.
But yeah, no, absolutely. I love it. We're all cut from a very similar cloth. Then, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything to add into this one, though, X?
I would say I'm definitely on that same wavelength. I would a little tweak there from my perspective is that the output itself would still be art. The renderer, the machine, the AI that generates it is not the artist. I'm sorry, the person who puts in the prompts is not an artist for it. I have started to refer to them and myself as a curator. You are a partner, if anything, with a program that is outputting art. And I say art because someone else is going to say that, hey, this is nice art. There you go. So now it's art, right? So it's like that's the subjective part that will always come into play, regardless of even the person who's generating these images thinking that this is quote unquote art. It is. It does output something that's going to elicit an emotional response or a conversation or philosophy or people discussing whether it's art or not, right? Like that's art. Now I like that separation though, and I do think that people will get to a place where they start to. I think people that get angry are when they're like, oh, this art is going to replace me as an artist. I mean, yeah, to some degree, probably. But as an artist, you've also had to contend with the photograph. You've had to contend with other tools that have come into existence that have potentially put people out of the art job, right? So you have to see these things as tools. And then as an artist, you get to use these tools as you see fit. You can partner with the tool itself. You can generate something and do your own art on top of it. You can collaborate. You can do collages with the art that's outputted. That's no different than people cutting up magazines and making junk journals, right? That's art. So it's or people that I've seen online complaining about this whole AI art thing, and yet they're taking images from Pokemon and they're re-rendering Pokemon in high definition using Photoshop and digital tools in order to collage together a bunch of textures on top of Pokemon. And I'm basically calling him out at this point, although I forget the guy's name, but he's an awesome artist. But I'm compelled to make a reaction video on his statement around all of this because I think it's absurd, and I'm calling it out as it is because as a guy who's got a lot of talent, but he's using digital technology to basically do exactly what this program is doing. Like he's basically, you know what I'm saying? Like he's still cutting corners, he's still doing his thing.
So
why is his
hypocrisy you're calling?
art? Oh. Yes.
Absolutely.
I'd create my own art drama channel or something like that.
I mean, that's like one of my biggest fucking pet peeves in general as a person right there is hypocrisy. And that's like something that I've spent a very large amount of my life trying to prevent doing in any way, shape, or form. You know, the whole integrity thing that I talk about with fucking everybody with everything. So that shit pisses me off when I see that. So I can understand that, absolutely.
It's emotions coming to the surface, right? And people are gonna defend, especially if they're artists as a career. They've been doing it for many years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, right? And it is a bit of a hit, right? Because it's new technology that you're gonna have to come to terms with. And I think
art
that people,
boomers.
It is that though, right? It is that. It's the same as people who didn't want to, like our parents and parents' who didn't want to
don't
use
need no
phone,
cell phone.
Right? Exactly.
As they're
and now it's like, well, now how you doing your banking?
Geometry Dash.
Yeah.
Candy Crush.
Yes.
Candy Crush.
Yeah, not even like the good phone games, by the way, too. Not even the good ones. Fucking hell.
Just the super addictive.
What do you mean Geometry Dash isn't a good phone game?
I mean, no, Geometry Dash is. Geometry Dash is. I was talking about you specifically. No, I love Geometry Dash. I put way too many hours into it.
Oh, God.
You know what? If I said that unironically, I would have to just let you beat the shit out of me at that point.
Good.
So.
Anyways. So
that's my I would like to make an amendment to what I said, because now that I think about it, Jay has a point. And I kind of have a conflicting view on if the output is art or not. But I kind of see the AI thing itself as sort of like Miku, sort of. And I do think that the art that people create with Vocaloid is art. But the thing with the AI bot that I feel different about with stuff like that, because I feel like it's really similar in concept.
Yep.
The thing with the AI bot is that it's actually doing most of the work for you and putting those things together. Whereas with like Vocaloids and stuff, like it's just providing you like a pencil, you know?
Sure.
Like they're both tools. I just feel like they're similar, but also kind of different, which is why I'm kind of conflicted here. Because I definitely think there's merit to it, but I don't think. I'm very strong on feeling the person who puts in the keywords is not the artist here. I think there is
absolutely, and we'll get into this one as well a little bit later too, because we're gonna get into the more legal stuff later. That's gonna be a fun rabbit hole. We'll get back into that one a little later. But I'm glad that you touched on the whole ownership thing though. But absolutely, I definitely still am of the mind too that the output absolutely is still art. You know what I mean? Even though it is still an emulation of something that exists. But that in and of itself is... Like, one of my favorite fucking quotes, dude, is Mr. Samuel Streamer with fucking talking about RimWorld when he was playing that. And I think I told you this one, Ed, where he had a character that was supposed to represent himself in there. And a random event happened in the game. Him being a streamer, this is the joke, by the way, a content creator, said that they were struck with, I don't know, due to an overload of production, they have lost their will on caring about anything and have become apathetic, or something to that extent, like paraphrasing it, and the guy represented himself, and he dies of laughter for like 5 minutes straight, followed by the line, art imitates life. It's reminding me of that, dude. But like, absolutely, like there's still a beauty in that kind of shit, you know, when things start to kind of just represent that which they are, and that's a beautiful thing that you can kind of see in AI as it is, and machine learning. A lot of people are, of course, you know, terrified of machine learning, and we'll get into the more ethics of that as well later on. You know, thank you, Isaac Asimov. But yeah. So just to go ahead and touch into this as well too, before we get into more deeper concepts as well. So again, I took notes on like the origin up to this point of AI art, and y'all can look up the actual just straight Wikipedia article of this. I didn't want to read the whole thing word for word and be that guy, because you can literally Google it yourself and it would be way more concise and more accurate. So instead, this is my own little tidbits and notes that I took apart from it, though. But hilariously enough, AI art, I didn't even know, goes all the way back to the fucking 1960s. It's as far back as even that, where things could be considered AI art, honestly. Starting with something called Aaron. is what it was given. It's like a collective of a number of different fucking programs that a dude used where it made like a black and white image that he would then color over afterwards. And that was like where it started, right? Was just making a collection of lines to be able to color in, which is pretty fucking awesome. And most recently is where we're starting to see it really pick up and all that other stuff. I mean, even if you can think not too terribly long ago, like AI art almost borderlines into like fucking Snapchat filters when you really think about it at the end of the day.
No.
To be honest with you, as fucked up as that is, you don't want to think about it, but like it's similar to that, right? But like being able to process things and then output it, like one of the things that they have on that article was in 2016, Deep Artifacts, I have it right there, where it takes an image and then outputs like a Van Gogh painting of it. You know, that would be considered AI art as well. 2014 marks like the beginning. I have a milestone in here for GAN. And I'm not going into the fucking full anything about this because I don't even understand machine learning fully myself. Okay? That's a whole other rabbit hole you can fall into. It is fucking fascinating, though. But general adversarial networks is what it is, which is a environment or a protocol of machine learning itself where it takes like two different like protocols, or I don't know what word you would use though, but it's like a push and pull where a win is a loss against the other one and it goes back and forth, and basically one is trying to fool the other one into emulating something else. In short, a GAN emulates something that exists and does whatever that it can to learn and be better at mimicking things. This is an actual state in human development as well too, which is fucking freaky that like machines can actually emulate that level of like human growth in childhood. So fucking weird reading about that one. And then of course 2021 to 2022 happened, okay? Where fucking OpenAI, I believe, created DALL-E. That was where it all started right there. This is the one that we all know of for AI art, where you type in like tags. Like you're basically fucking trying to boost your SEO on a fucking YouTube video at this point with tags, and then it'll generate images based off of those text prompts, okay? Which is actually what my current Discord profile is being used for, right? And then all hell broke loose from there. But that being said, I constructed this beautiful collage for all of you guys. Do you love it? These are all the pictures of me that a friend of mine, I'm going to go by Alice, decided to create for me. I think it's lovely. I think it's absolutely lovely. And it's so good. I love these. They're so fucking good. I'm just going to put it right in the middle of everybody so we're all equally being overcome.
Make it the background behind us.
I wish I could, but I can't. Actually, you know what? I can. You're absolutely right about that. Yeah. Oh my fucking Lord.
Yeah, you share. Am I behind on stream? Oh, I am. Hold on. Nope. There you are.
That's okay. Watch this. Ready? All the way beneath everything. Bam! Bam!
Let's fucking go.
Yes. So, congratulations. Y'all got a little bit of Fox with you. But anyway, yeah, I have literally about 17, 18 of those images that I'm going to be flip-flopping between for fucking profile pictures now for Discord for a very long time coming. But I, for one, am of the minds, and this is the next question, okay? Good, bad, cool, meh, etc. General opinion of AI art. I think that this shit is the coolest shit in the fucking world. I genuinely believe that. I'm not going to be the guy that's like, oh man, the advancement of fucking artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. shouldn't be scary, whatever. I think it's inevitable. So I have a different mindset than a lot of people that way, where I'm like, we'll just have to see where it goes, and I'm intrigued by it rather than absolutely fucking mortified by it. But I love how this is a thing now. This is fucking phenomenal. Like, I am so like enthused by this.
I would like to butt in real quick and about machine learning. Fun fact, I have experience with it. My boss threw me a machine learning thing to work on a bot for the company I work with, and he said fuck around and find out, so I do have experience there.
Beautiful.
I'm not even kidding. He gave me like basic instructions and how to do things, and was just like, all right, have fun.
Beautiful.
Have fun, small one.
Have fun.
So, just to comment there, I do have a bit of experience in the matter. Not an expert. Great. I'm not trying to claim that. But
of course. No, you probably have more than I do, though, is the thing. It's more, I'm just going to be frank. I'll be honest, because I'm not afraid to say that I don't have a level of understanding of something that I find comprehensive enough for something. I can't wrap my head around it. It's that
Fair.
simple. I do not understand it enough to be able to quantify it in a way that makes sense to me and me alone. It's like when I was going into fucking calculus all over again, and then I established a ground level where I can understand where things were going. You know what I mean? I've been a fucking really smart numbers dude with algebra my entire life, and then I stepped into calculus, and I was like, what the hell are you talking? What the fuck is a derivative? What the fuck? Yeah,
Math
so
derogatory.
it is something else. But yeah, machine learning and the concept of it is fascinating to me. From my understanding, I think it's just really, really like complex code and other things that they wind up writing into. It's obviously supposed to be like intelligent. It's supposed to be like a program, right, that develops understanding over time. Okay,
Yes.
and I know that it's based off of like cognitive psych and how like our actual neurons will work. So it's really complex logic that allows that program to, over time, get smarter and smarter. And hilariously enough, too, one of the earlier games that I have seen adopt this kind of a thing to a more advanced level, actually, is Destiny. I was told, at least, their AI was, it learned based off of how the players played. So, like, in the earlier stages of Destiny, they were a little more dumb, but then as, like, people started to play certain ways, they would start to counter
patterns.
that and do that. And I thought that was fucking phenomenal. And again, like, don't completely quote me on that, but this is something I remember being discussed a while ago when Destiny released. And if they did indeed do that, that explains a lot of shit about how they just always have the fucking leg up on you in any situation. Because I felt like that game was very cheap with how its AI worked sometimes, and that makes sense. Makes a lot of fucking sense. But yeah, AI learning is something to absolutely behold.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
one a recommendation I would say, I use that word and I didn't mean to, but it's called a recommendation engine. It's what so there's a bunch of content out there in the 2019 era that talks about it's OpenAI, I believe. It's based on the OpenAI, but it's what constructs the recommendation system that's behind things like Amazon or Netflix, or like that's the idea of what that suggested content is that gets delivered to us. Like we start watching ABC, we're going to start being the kind of network is going to know what to recommend us next when we log in the next time, or because based on a bunch of other people that have viewing habits like us that liked the other kind of content that is similar to what we just watched. So the recommendation system is a big part where all of this started to really develop. And there's some, I would say, like they're deep enough videos from a tutorial perspective or like a breakdown perspective of what these engines do. But I've watched maybe maybe 1 or 2 hours worth of these, and it's enough. It's enough to understand what the recommendation.
It's like watching the
engine
blockchain
is.
videos all over again.
Yeah, you'll pick up on it real fast. And I mean, because we're on YouTube, it's a massive has massive influence on the YouTube recommendation system, which is what we know as the YouTube AI, or the the algorithm, right? The quote unquote the big capital A algorithm, right? Same system. It's the same concept that's being developed. Now there's I am going to oversimplify this because I did not do the research before this. But it's like there's like I see like AI is kind of like an onion, and so they're trying to peel away at the layers of that programming. So like AI is the surface level. You can kind of program what you need in AI. You can do fake condition engines, right? Like if someone does A, then show them B. If they do C, then show them D. That kind of thing, right? Very simplistic.
I'm if-else branching tree and programming.
Yeah, branching trees, oversimplifications. Even the gaming systems, like the condition engines in like some of those in the RPGs over the last 10 years, right? The condition engines, similar scenarios, right? It's still scripted. It's still pretty branchy. And then the machine learning kicks in. Now, machine learning is when it starts to try to train the machine to start making decisions on its own based on stuff that I hope I'm not mangling this, but it starts to do associations. Now, after that layer, it's called deep learning. Now, when you go to deep learning, that's when you get the AI to do its own assessments without input from the person. So we're on the second layer right now, which is what the AI art development is going into over the last couple of years is that they're now entering the phase of training this open AI system how to create associations. The next layer will be deep learning so that they can actually generate this stuff themselves and output to us without us asking for the output. And then that's where you start to get that the connection with the AI itself. And then you get to the center, which is, I believe, it's neural networking or neural networks. And that's where you have a bunch of these connected. That's where you have the Terminator world in the future, and you have the Isaac Asimov starts to become a big problem, right? It's where neural networks is where computers will be thinking faster than human beings, and they'll be connected together so that they can all, it becomes a multiplier, right, of how fast they develop in terms of cognitively, quote unquote, being able to assess things from new perspectives that humans might not have even thought of, but on the same wavelength that we taught them. So it goes beyond, our own kind of prodding, and they're going to start to give stuff back. So that's the fascinating part of it. We're definitely many years off of this still, right? We're just.
I'll be surprised if I actually see it in my lifetime.
Oh no, we will. We will. Even I will.
It'll make me very amused. I'll say that.
We'll see something. I would say 15, 20
I'm
years.
saying more like it'd be more of like an earlier, like, you know what I mean? I guess it depends. I couldn't tell you how fucking quickly it would develop though, but I'm not expecting to see an iRobot thing in my lifetime. But
I don't know, man.
All right, Grandpa.
No, yeah. Check back with me in 20 years.
We'll see. We'll have to see what it winds up going on to, man. We're already at like a point where like being deaf is simply like a suggestion now.
It's crazy, man.
We have robots. They're like, no, you can hear again. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah. No, absolutely. I love it, though.
Probably mangle some of that, but that's the layers is more what the...
I have a book that goes into that kind of shit, too. It's starting to remind me about, like, technology and a civilization, like those levels of things, right? And what I'm talking about when I say that is in astronomy, when they're talking about, like, the level of civilization, like, where you can make, like, Dyson spheres and shit and harvest suns. Like, you know that scale that they have? Jesus. You're starting to remind me of that shit. No, that's an actual thing that they act like they have these things on like weird scale. Science is fucking weird that way, man.
Crazy.
And I just think to myself, and I'm like, who the fuck sat at a drawing board and like kind of put those together? Because that standard had to have been like created from something. Like again, it's just a level of thinking that's so far beyond me. Oh man. Ed, do you have anything to add into this one, though? Your thoughts here so far?
No, not really. You guys pretty much covered everything that I had to say about
Is AI art cool, Ed?
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. However, there's a reason why they plaster all sorts of legal shit on it when you download it.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
Because I'm just going to rip the bandage off here. I'm just going to outright say it. There is some creep. There are not just creeps. These are some of like the most heinous criminal people. And you know what? I'm not going to say it directly, but you know what I'm indicating here.
Yeah.
There's disgusting human beings who are going to use it for illegal purposes.
Yeah. That's kind of just the nature of shit too, though.
Absolute
unfortunately.
scum. Like I have no issue.
Yeah. That's the risk of this rabbit hole, right? It's I know that some of the technology that they're generating right now, there's like I use Midjourney. It's a Discord based AI service, and it's like they do censorship layers on the AI, so they're training it to not do heinous shit.
Well, no, the AI. The one I use is there's an NSFW filter as well, fortunately, on it, that you can enable on and off. And there's also built-in blockers, so it will not work with certain terms. Just
right, that's exactly it.
Yeah. There's some terms that are ghost banned,
right?
Pretty much.
Yes, yeah, similar. But that's one day. Because this is open AI, man. Like literally, someone can take the technology and do whatever they want. And like there's one industry that always gets ahead of every other industry in the last couple of decades, right? And that's the porn industry. That's the truth. I'm just being true, but like they're going to hit the technology before anyone else, right? And do stuff with this that just isn't being considered, right? But that industry is what is going to try to make money off of this sooner than later. Now, the heinous shit you're talking about is going to be criminal. Like this, it's not going to change it, right? It's not going to change the criminal. I mean, it's going to change legal wording very quick. because they're gonna have to reinterpret what the language means around the law. Let's not say the word on here because it will, it will knock the channel. Okay. For RPG Fox, but
thank you, appreciate you. This is why you are my co-host.
So, but it's because already, just even without that topic in play, there's already legal there's legal issues with AI art in terms of copyright that they're trying to get around. They're trying to raise it in legislation and stuff like that. There's a layer of it that they say, like, I mean, on the books right now is that AI art is not copyrightable. And so if you render art with an AI generator, you don't own it because it wasn't actually created by anybody. Like it was rendered. And so there's like a loophole in the legal system right now that is pretty much on the side of anybody being able to use the AI art. That being said, I think the laws are going to evolve and potentially change around all of this.
And then we'll get another DMCA fucking crisis on Twitch over it.
Yeah.
I'm going to dread when that winds up being a thing because laws are funny. Laws are very funny.
These have to happen quickly though, because the technology is happening fast enough that there's I think it's Stable Diffusion. There's another one out there that's
that's what I do. That's what I use.
Okay.
I use Stable Diffusion. Yeah.
There's because that's the big photo realistic one, or there's another one that's even
no. There's an add-on I have on my it's like an anime filter pretty much where it just filters through anime characters, so you can make them like super easy.
Gotcha.
Hell yeah, bro.
There's one renderer I saw out there, man, that it's mimicking photography for magazines, right? Like you can tell the position the person is in. You can see the kind of lighting that's in the room, the kind of staging that's done, and the hands are actually coming out like hands. Like, because that's the big problem with a lot of these AI. They don't know how to do fingers and toes and limbs with a lot of bones. They do not know how to do that.
Or words. Too.
Yeah, that breaks down.
A lot of artists don't know how to do it either.
Jesus. Yeah, but these photography ones are blowing my mind because I can't tell that they're fake people at all. Like, I can't tell they're in fake sets. I can't tell. There's some I've seen where I'm like, this is now, right? Now imagine they get that one even better. Okay, now it's not just artists are in trouble. We're talking about models are in trouble, right? Like people who set up stages for models for magazine shots are in trouble. Like there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be in trouble. Absolutely. But that's the nature of the beast, right?
Such is life.
You gotta evolve. And the only thing like making this not blow up right now, I think, is the copyright law. I do think that it's gonna, I know Midjourney, for example, they do, and I believe Stable Diffusion as well, or DALL-E, they offer, quote unquote, you have copyright over the stuff you render. But they can say that. But I mean, I've definitely done some looking into this.
Well, I mean, why don't you?
You can, but by the word of the law right now, AI generated art is not generated in the fashion that can be copyrightable. So it's semantics in the law, and you know how that goes, right? So until someone takes it to court and actually has a case against it, and a judge makes a ruling, you don't have a declaration that's on the books that then defines any other case brought to the law, right? So someone has to get nailed first.
Big business hasn't quite found out how to monetize it yet.
Yeah. And when they do, the law will bend around it, right?
Yep. And then it's gonna get fun. Oh boy. Speaking of the law, so here's where we get to the first of many things right here. So in terms of copyrightability, who do you guys think owns the art generated? Let's go into that one and the fun thing about that.
Okay. Well, it should be the person who like actually put the tags in and generated it. That's the logic. That's the logical answer.
I disagree.
Because then it also goes into there's the person who generated the damn thing in the first place that you're using, and then there's the open source nature of it where you can modify it because it's open source, and then
if someone doesn't put in the words, if someone doesn't put in the words, you don't have the generated art, right? So the copyright needs to go to the person who generates the words. That's because you can just say hot dog on a steel bun, and you're gonna
hot dog on a steel bun. Can somebody AI generate that, please?
Or Walter White in the back rooms.
Saul Goodman in the back rooms.
And any one of us can generate that at the same time.
I'm gonna generate it right now, actually.
Saul Goodman in the back rooms.
No, it's hot dog in a steel bun. I want to do that.
Yeah.
So I feel like the person who says, okay, this art got generated and I put in these keywords, even though anyone else could put in those prompts, the person who kind of says, yeah, but this is my generated version, which is going to be unique. It is going to be unique. There's not going to be another one like it. That's the whole point. And the danger to some degree of this AI generation, it's not taking ideas from anywhere else. It's taking the ideas from places, it's not taking a source art from somewhere and therefore outputting things that are similar. It's always going to be different, right? So I don't know, the unique output, it's whoever says it's mine. I mean, that's what copyright is, even from if you write something, it's copyright, it's automatic, right? If you draw something and put it on the internet, you own the copyright for putting that in a tweet, you know? So I don't know why it would be any different. I rendered this thing and I'm putting it out there and saying it's mine until someone disagrees and then takes it to court.
I just think it's one of those kind of things too. For me personally, like legally with it as well, because I remember talking about this with Ed originally when it came up. I think the big stipulation for me that makes sense is like, it's like an attribution license to things, right? Like when you're using something, if you use something that's open source anyway, especially if you're trying to like make money off of it or whatever the case is, particularly with the monetary version, you put in the fucking attributions for it. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like I don't really see an issue with it legally at all, so long as that's like the thing. It's like, okay, made with X or whatever. And that doesn't mean that it needs to be a fucking watermark in the center of it, for God's sake. But like, I don't really see an issue with that one personally. I also am kind of apathetic on that regard too, where I don't really care. I'm not an artist though, so like I guess I literally don't have that level of empathy to care about that kind of shit with copyright, but like genuinely that's how I've always looked at it. Like, you know, I think if you're forward about, hey, this shit was made with an AI art generator, insert link here or whatever the case with an attribution in the description with it, who fucking cares? Because then you can also just be like, oh, well, it's not worth this amount. It's like, well, now we're getting into the same argument that I had with myself years ago on why people would spend $350 on a pair of leather fucking Michael Kors boots once upon a time. They have the money and the capital to do it, and they want to do it. The monetary value thing is based on the individual.
If someone pays the money, it assesses the value. I mean, I have problems with that kind of shit too, but that's the world, man.
But we all do
back to the NFTs, basically.
Yes.
So that's just kind of how the market works, though, in general, with anything that you do. This fucking goes into video games, for God's sake. When you play like MMO games, you're like, who the fuck would put it up for that price? They're way over. Like, you know, sometimes it's just to be able to get somebody to pay for their thing so that they can exchange money. That's what a lot of the gray markets do in fucking MMO games, but not going there. But like, it's all the same shit. If you put it on a higher than what people are generally, like, people dictate where the market's going to go with shit. And if it doesn't get bought, it's because it's too high, and then you adjust from there, and you figure out what you're more comfortable with. If you want to make it more expensive than usual, it's going to take longer for it to be sold, and there you go.
I generated Solgum in the back rooms in the chat, by the way.
Scary.
So Levandarss, you had a
you disagreed.
I have a take. I don't know if it's hot or cold, but it's a take, you know. So legally, I agree with you guys.
I love it.
Like, I think that's where the law falls at the moment. But like, how I see it, I guess, I really don't think you can own something where you typed in a few words and it spat it out, because the AI technically is the creator. So technically the AI owns it in my brain.
But it's not a living thing. It's not a living thing.
Well, yeah, let me speak.
Okay.
I'm not done. But the thing is that I really don't feel like that person who just threw in the words can really own it at that point. It just doesn't click in my brain that they would own it. I don't think that anyone else should own it as a thing. I just feel like it sits in the same place in my brain as like Creative Commons would.
Oh.
Because like, you know, like a stock photo, you know?
Yep.
Or not exactly a stock photo, but like a Creative Commons thing. Like, it falls in the same place in my mind, because like, at the end of the day, like, you kind of created it, but also like the AI really did most of the work.
Yep.
And so I have a really hard time comprehending the fact that somebody...
It's more you're a publisher. It's also a little different too, right?
Yeah,
like if you do
exactly.
a Creative Commons
like
for music, you still made it. Like, so
yeah.
I feel you.
It's more like you put it there, but I don't feel like it's your thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like you just kind of like, you put it out, you made the world aware of it, but I don't think it's yours, you know? It's hard to put into words what I'm
thinking
about.
Exactly. Those are the words.
This is why we're having this discussion.
I strangely agree, even though I believe I presented an opposite point, but I strangely agree.
Yeah. You know, like, if I generated an image, the thing is, I feel like you can own things in that image. Like, if I generated something of my character, and that character design belongs to me, I think I own that design. Yeah. But I don't think I own the piece itself, you know?
Yep.
Because I didn't create the piece itself, I just own aspects of it, you know?
That you are more close to the law than I am. I mean, that is the law right now is going to take
my
your
dad
side,
is a lawyer.
right?
I have thoughts, so
fair enough.
I hear this shit all the time.
Now, I got a question for you then, going deeper into that as well, too, levandarss. So, again, I want to go back to the older point that you brought down as well. So, now if we apply that to Vocaloid music, all right? Where do you stand on that then? Because of the fact that it's being used, it's using a voice synthesizing software. Technically, you could even say it was the original person who provided the voice bank for insert voice bank that you used for it or whatever, though. But like, what are your thoughts on that to publish that as well too? Who then owns it using a Vocaloid there?
I think the person who makes the music owns that, just because there's a lot more of a creative process there where the person owns a lot more of it. Like, because with AI, at the end of the day, you're putting in words and regenerating it until you find something that matches the words that you like. You know, you're not going through the creative process of making it, you know. It's like if I got a pre-baked cake and like pre-frosted and I just added words on top. That's kind of what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, technically, I created the final product, but I did not have a hand in most of the process. Where with Vocaloid stuff, it feels like it's like with a pencil, you know? Like, you used it to create the thing, but it's
another tool,
more than what that is.
So it's the cherry on top with everything. So that is true. So that is kind of it is an inequality there to make, I would say. I'm trying to think of like another equivalent too, because like I'm trying to like apply that to other things.
Well, the thing is that I don't expect this to be viable legally, because with that, there's a lot of subjectivity there.
Yep.
Like, how much of it do you own at that point? Which is why I agree with you guys in terms of the legal aspect, but like, just in my head, that's not how it is, you know? Like, I just don't feel like if you put in, like, if you just type in a bunch of keywords, I don't feel like that the result that a bunch of other people put tons of stuff into is really yours at that point. I just think you own aspects of it, which overcomplicates things a lot, and I don't really think that has any viability, like, legal anywhere. But it is in my brain. So
I also weirdly do. There is a point to be made there, though, because it is different from a lot of other things that I'm trying to like compare that to on there. Because you're literally you're just instructing a machinery at that point to, you know what I mean? You're defining parameters for it, and then it is automated at that point.
It feels like you're the manager, you know? Like, you're directing the person to do the thing.
You have become the manager of Lobotomy Corporation. Yes, congratulations.
Yes, fucking A-in moment. But, you know, it's kind of like with that, you know? Like, the manager can't say they did the work there. They just provided the instructions that ended up with the final project. But, like, they really don't own the full thing, because a lot of other things were used to create that thing, aside from the manager's initial parameters. So, again, I don't know where it would fall legally.
Yeah, the manager is just there to be a tank for Karens, as we all know.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, someone's got to be the shield. You know the thing with, like, the big paladin guy?
Yep.
Over, like, the small guy?
Yep.
That's the manager.
That is the manager. Yeah. And then just have, like, a fucking Karen right off screen afterwards screaming. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Somebody get on that. Somebody AI generate that.
Right now. Yeah.
Excellent.
Also, because I never specifically said this on what I think about AI generated stuff, on if it's cool or not. I am entirely neutral, because it does not cross my brain enough for me to give a shit about it, to be quite honest. Like, it's a thing, you know? At first, I was huffing copium for a while, but that's just, like, for a few days I was, and I didn't say this to anyone. I'm not going to explain my thought process there, because it's just not relevant. I feel like it's a word, like, I feel like I can understand where people are angry about it. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like it's worth getting angry about anymore, so I just don't care.
So you just don't get angry about it? I don't get angry by not getting angry. Yeah. It's that simple.
No, it's more just like I lost the energy to be angry at it, you know? Like, I don't see the point in my anger at that point. Like, who am I sticking it to? What process, you know, how am I going to feel better by being angry?
And where do the gains go?
And And this is coming from me because I have literal anger issues.
Who are you supposed to be mad at? Like, exactly.
Yeah, at that point, you're not really mad at anything.
Old man yells at cloud.
Fuck you, grass.
But like I said, this is, I was angry at first because I was just like, damn, this is taking a lot of stuff away from art and making people rethink a lot of things. But at the end of the day, like,
it is.
I'm just not going to think about it is my thing, Like, I don't like stuff where there's lots of answers, where there's no right answer, because it's too complicated for my tiny little brain.
Oh, no. I don't
so I have just decided there is no answer, and it is what it is.
I think stuff is developing too fast for society, for culture to have answers fast, and that's what's making it more difficult for people to have something that they can say, okay, well, that is what it is, and I think that's part of the confusion and that is generated around stuff like this, is because it is a lot of just interpretations and sentiments around ideas, and until those ideas become turn into words and honestly become law, that's usually what people will turn to when deciding where that line is, right? As a society, that's what we drafted, even if it gets too old and needs to get remedied over the years, and then they're too fucking slow to do it, and then things lose their meaning, But that is where it kind of starts. And I think to the copyright issue, where I agree on the generation not being the copyright, I think what the next step of that is, are you making a product with this? Are you doing something with it? So as soon as you make something with this, you quote unquote transform it, and that's where the copyright, it's not about whether you're the artist. That's still not a question. I'm still of the mind. It's just I'll call myself a curator. I am doing books for these, by the way. I'm trying to work on a project right now that makes a product out of the stuff. But I will never call myself the artist. I'm the curator. The artist is the renderer machine. That's undeniable for me. And then it's the product becomes the copyrightable object, right? So that's kind of how I'm interpreting it. And people just have to start doing stuff with this if you want to kind of challenge what the interpretations are. And I don't know, the first people to kind of hit the floor with something, it'll start conversations. It might be controversial, right? But someone's got to start something in a way that actually generates a level of attention that gets people to try and define at what point does this become a product that's owned, Because obviously if I put a book together if I generate 200 images and pick, 60 of them to tell some visual story in this art book, I curated it. At the end of the day, it's it's still my art show, and people can kind of interpret it as they will. And the art part of it is there's no words in it. I'm kind of pushing the philosophy behind it, the storytelling aspect of it. And if you if you flip through this book and you leave with a story in your mind, it's generated thoughts, then the book is the art, And so I would say I do own that art. I own the book. I wouldn't want people replicating the images out of it,
I think with that specifically, with the book thing, I think that's kind of you mentioned something about people taking images of the magazines. What's that called?
Collage art and junk journals. Yeah. There's a bunch of different
junk journals and stuff like that. I think it falls into that where you're taking pieces of things that already exist and turning them into something new, which that takes your own you're taking that creative idea where you're these images, put them in this order, create these images to create this story thing. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't if you made a junk journal, you wouldn't say that you suddenly own those magazines or the images that were from those magazines. You'd own the full thing, but you don't own the pieces.
That is effectively art in a nutshell anyway. That goes into that whole Steal Like an Artist book. That's the whole entire premise of what art is it not? You take something that inspires you and you add your own little flavor into it to extend it, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
And turn it into something else.
I think there's a really dumb argument about AI art being bad, which at first I subscribed to when I was in my copium huffing era that lasted a week. And then I realized I was being dumb. But people are saying, oh, you're using all of these things as source material without the artist's consent. That's literally what you do to learn art. The person who created my avatar here, I stare at his art and try to mimic things all the time. I literally asked him, hey, buddy, what brushes do you use? And he was just like, here you go. I started off learning how to draw things by fucking tracing shit when I was in lower school, At the end of the day, art is just building off of other things, which is why I think you know, I think there definitely are issues to be had with AI art. It is not perfect, and there's a lot of things that you can complain about with it. But I think that's a really dumb argument because that's just what fucking art is. The only difference is the machine's doing it now.
Yeah.
You know?
Basically.
You're just taking things, but you're creating a new thing with those to the point where like it becomes its own recognizable concept, you know?
Pretty much.
It's subjective. Like I said, I fucking hate subjective things. I'm trying to be a good podcast person.
No,
here.
you're good.
No,
you are contributing very well, though. Absolutely. See, because like where you stand with things, right? Me and X, I'd say that I fall somewhere in the middle of that, actually. Between thinking deep about shit that's really convoluted and whatnot, and then not, because like I don't care to arrive at an answer. It's the thought process that I give a shit about. I just like thinking too much about shit that fascinates me. That's just it. I enjoy the thought experiment of things more so than actually trying to confine it in a definition. Even though that kind of is what you do when you make like a video essay about things. But the reason why that is a thing that I do, why I would say that it is different from how a lot of other people do, is I don't consider myself an authoritarian about things, and my word is God necessarily, but it's more to convey a specific aspect about a thing. You know what I mean? And be like, well, I would like to, and I try to usually go outside of the fucking mold too when I make video essays about things, right? Like eventually when I do the fucking video about Library of Ruina, right? It's less going to be, was Library of Ruina a good game? And it's going to be more, okay, why does this game infuriate so many people, but simultaneously is also one of the most unique and best games that that pretty much anybody has ever played. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, how can you be so polarizing and have both of those things? Most people share that same opinion. It's like, LOR to me is one of the most amazing things that I have ever fucking played. I will never get anything like it, and it was a phenomenal experience and whatnot, but by the same exact standpoint, oh my fucking god, I cannot stand that fucking game simultaneously. It's like, how can I be so conflicted about it? Why? What is it that gets me to there? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's more, I make video essays because I want to understand them rather than confine it. To try to provide explanation to something that people do not explain well. And that is kind of what we're here for like the people like you, levandarss, who want to not really think about it necessarily, where it would benefit you more to see a video on somebody like me who spends way too much time staring at fucking chalkboards and drawing boards and trying to go from point A to point B and explain why this is like this, to break it down. And that's the thing. Like, people like you and I are on two other ends of the spectrum because we kind of push and pull off of each other. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I give you the shit, and then you give me something else to work with, and then I throw it back at you. And it's weird. You can think of me more or less as an interpreter. You're welcome. But
yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Big Words, man.
Yes. I'll be here all week. But yeah, it's a weird fucking concept trying to think about that shit. Because, like, I absolutely agree with X on the regard of, like, people spend way too much time trying to define and think objectively about shit, but there's a value in it because it's a way to simplify shit for people who are not good at being able to quantify those kind of things. Like the fucking age-old argument that I've brought up several fucking times, X, and I will probably still bring it up until the end of my fucking existence, though. But like, and you experienced it when you went into Dark Souls, though. It's like the whole difficulty aspect about things. Like, you know what I mean? When people talk about that kind of shit, and I'm just like, well, it's not about the difficulty of the fucking game.
It's not easy to explain. God damn it!
Like, yes, exactly. Like, it gets so many people whenever that they form an argument about things, and it's so fucking frustrating for me, especially too, is they boil it down to something way oversimplified. And I'm like, no, I'm not talking about, and it happens with fucking Library of Ruina as well, too. I'm not talking about the difficulty of the fight, or it's too hard, or it's too easy, or this. I want to know about, like, is it good because is it engaging to me? Like, that's the main thing that pisses me off about that game, is the engagement factor of it. I don't give a shit if it's hard as shit. What I want to know is, am I caring about what's happening on the screen? Because that's what video games do. I need to interact with it and learn from it to be able to derive to a conclusion and then master it. Fuck.
Was that Was that one of the last rants you did, or was it to another video game? I feel like I heard you.
Probably was
about...
to another video game.
There was one game you talked about. It was deep into the play, and you talked about something about the engagement level. Like you couldn't.
That actually was a video I made about Library of Ruina. It was poorly researched though, and I didn't go all the way through the game to be able to get to realizations. Even though a lot of people still tell me that I was on the mark with a lot of things with it, and I'm like, no, I don't know. I think it was still poorly researched, but. That's why I want to go back into this one and actually go full through from like top to bottom and go through everything and like some kind of fucking nerdy video game scientist. But like, I just want to actually break it down in a level of detail that nobody else does with Library of Ruin and tell you, no, stop saying this, you're stupid. Let's try to provide actual feedback for Project Moon so they can make a better product.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. Mm-hmm. It's so frustrating though, because like you always just get shut down with like really bad arguments for things, and I'm like, well, I'm not talking about that though.
I hear you.
Understandable. Yeah. I don't want to go off topic too much because I have many thoughts on Library of Ruin as a whole, but I'm not gonna go off topic there. But,
oh, we'll be here all night. There's so much to talk about in that game. It's not even funny. But we touched on it before, so. How do you guys think this is going to affect the artistic job market? We're going to go into the long term after this, by the way. So don't go super long term with this yet. In the short term.
Okay, so in the short, like how far would you say short?
5 to 10 years.
At its level of
5 to 10 years. Let's say 5
right now. Yeah, 5 to 10 years even. Yeah.
Within your, you've left quote unquote art school. You're in your 20s and you're hitting the job market in the next 5 to 10 years. What does it mean?
To you? Well, basically about our level of development that we are now with AI art.
Machinery has already started to take over manual labor. Right. I promise you, I'm going somewhere with this. I promise.
That is canon, by the way. Yes.
Now they're coming after creative endeavors, right? Mm-hmm. I heard this on another podcast. I forget who said it, but basically they said there is eventually going to be a movie script that is written by an AI, and people are not even going to know it. Probably. It is going to do super well, and machines are basically they took away our manual labor. Now they're going to take away our creativity, or they're going to take over creativity or creative fields at least. Because as we can see now, they have it has a hold on art, whether it be realistic, anime, furries soon, as I mentioned.
I think with furries, it's going to take a while, man.
That's besides the point, though. You get what I'm saying, right? They're coming. It's coming after your creativity, pretty much, and they're going to find a way to corporatize it. They're going to find a way to. Obviously, because they don't have to pay anybody to write stuff anymore. Because if the AI can write a perfect movie by taking parts of all the film, the National Film Registry, and looking at all those films, and basically taking things from them, writing like the perfect script in quotation marks.
Yeah, they're already developing writing AIs akin to these art AIs.
I know.
And there's music AIs I found out on that wiki article as well, too.
Yeah.
Ooh, la la.
Yes, there is.
Well, again, we'll get into the long term, though, in a little while, because that is the next question immediately afterwards, though, with this, because I think that matters significantly on the whole job market thing now versus later, because we get into the corporatizing shit, and then we're going into, legislation and
You need a legal component. Yeah.
Oh boy.
But go ahead. You first.
I was going to keep mine short because I think I've already touched on some points, but I think that as a tool set, I mean, the fast adopters are going to be the ones that succeed the fastest in 5 to 10 years because they're going to know the tool better in order to leverage it in their own works. I don't think they'll use the tool as the work. I think the good artists are going to be artists out of school or training or self-taught or whatever the scenario might be. They're going to enter the job market, want to get into art. They're going to leverage the art generation tools as a kit that gets them to start art faster, and then they'll wrap it up with their own skills, and then they'll bring that to market or to their employer or to their client or whatever the case might be. And I think that in terms of like immediate jobs that would be lost, it will go into the second part we'll likely get into when we start talking about the corporatization of stuff. I do think that magazines are going to not need as many creatives involved. They're going to be able to pay for this software, or imagine they'll hire people who know the AI or software and how to render things with the proper prompts, and then they're going like faster. and then they'll start rendering the magazine illustrations. We're talking about those more cartoony, the more creative, like human compositions, right? The stuff that's not perfect, right? That's what the corporate magazines will use. It's more there's iconography behind that. There's reasons why things that don't look like people represent people in some of these illustrations for corporate magazines. I think AI art is going to it's just going to destroy that field. Because it's going to do that well, because they don't have to do hands yet. They don't have to do perfect hands yet. And then it's like that photography one. Again, if you're just doing faces of people, I've seen stuff that looks like people, man. I'm sorry, but I think models start to lose some opportunities. And so I think there's going to be a surface level of work where it's going to be the businesses that hit AI art the fastest are going to leverage it the fastest and make money better and faster. So they're going to be more efficient with it. But then it's going to enter that second era of like, how do you what's copyright? Like, how do you control this with law? So that's it. That's my stance.
I just thought of something absolutely horrendous that I really wish I didn't think of though right now. Oh my god. What do you guys think AI art is going to do to gacha games in the future?
Man.
All of those PNG artists.
I'm telling you,
man.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Dude, RPG Maker?
Fuck,
dude. RPG Maker?
No, because that's the whole thing behind gacha games, right? Like, because there's a lot of legality shit that goes into that, and that's why a lot of people don't like the premise of making a gacha game. I know that that's something I wouldn't be looking forward to. Why I would never make a gacha game is because you got to make sure that your fucking artists are being paid and you have the right copyrights and that they don't want to be a dick and then want to not work on the project or whatever. It literally is a controversy that happened in Arknights. Like, yeah.
Like gacha games die for real.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I'm thinking of that right now, and I'm like, man, dude, imagine them just AI generating their own shit for fucking gacha games, man.
Yeah. I want gacha games.
Because that's so much easier. I'm sorry, but, like, from a company standpoint, how I'm looking at that right there, that seems way easier. That seems way easier than getting 50 artists to work on 50 different units that I need for a gacha game. And then when I need to make the next costume that's going to be in the next download patch that you get, that you can buy a nice fucking bathing suit skin for your favorite waifu model, I can just generate
How many times can you hit the render button?
Like, exactly.
In 8 hours.
Like, I'm sorry, but that just makes way more sense. Or just buy the whole fucking box.
Here's 500. Choose 3 that you're going to use. Right? How many artists can do 500 pieces for a director to choose 3 pieces from, right?
Yep.
It's just the scale, man. It's scale. It's gonna hurt people.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's sad. It is sad as an artist. I wanted to get into this field. I get it. But it's at the same time I'm kind of seeing AI going, maybe I should get into this field. I feel like, oh shit, I got a way that I can do things faster and as a shortcut. Man, it's looking tempting again,
Yeah. I feel corporately it's going to change dramatically, to be honest with you, though. But especially right now, I don't think it's going to change too terribly badly because there's still going to be purists, like who was saying right there, where they're going to be like, no, I want to work with an actual person. Like it's like people again. I was saying with music, there are people who just want to hear the imperfections of being able to play an entire piece from start to finish, rather than dubbing over it and using a DAW to make it sound more accurate, which is way more time efficient, rather. And all of that others. There are purists that are within things that would rather do those sorts of things. So there's always going to be value in anybody who is a legitimate artist versus non, and then you go into the whole AI side of things. So I don't think that they'll be completely without a job, at least in the smaller scale in terms of commissions and the people that are complaining on that regard. Now, the people in big business, though, I feel like that is where it's going to definitely hit hard, though.
Yeah.
That is my stance. You can continue on that one, Ed.
I was just gonna say, I think personally, I use AI art, the art tool, as a funny little boredom tool. Type in some funny words, see what kind of characters I can make.
Yes. It's true.
Not everybody's going to is the thing, and that's what's going to wind up, starting to push some lines.
Yep. I know, it's unfortunate. I just think it's a fun little thing. It takes a million years to boot up, but I could goof around a little bit, make some funny anime characters, turn non-anime characters into anime characters.
Exactly.
I do wonder that too. I wonder how many people will be absolutely crazy about that too. Being a purist is like, oh no, it's AI generated. Everybody boycott this game. I wonder if that actually would happen, because then now it's starting to also fucking delve into like mankind, fucking Deus Ex, human revolution shit now. Where like there's all the people that were against cybernetics and the people who are not. I really wonder if that'll wind up being a thing, even as simple as like just AI generated shit, man. Because I'm gonna just sit here in a camping stool, sipping coffee, just being like, oh boy, you silly people. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, you can't stop human evolution. It's gonna end the market. To be honest, I think enough people a new generation will come around, and they won't have known any different. Keep it in mind, right? Like the people born this decade are going to be in 2 decades, teenagers coming out of school where AI art is just a tool, just like the camera was a tool when people started to do photography in class and coming out of school. You have an iPhone, doesn't make you a photographer. Know what I mean? Anyone can take a photo, doesn't make you a photographer. All right, so. There's a decision that's made when you say I am a photographer, and honestly, then you start taking photos and you say this is art, it's photography art, and you declared it, and there's gonna be a whole generation of people that grow into this new world, right? So
absolutely. Yeah, I love that, by the way, Who. Just saying, you are absolutely correct. People have definitely boycotted significantly less, if I recall, back in 2019, when the lovely vid had originally started, there were people who boycotted fucking, what was it, Corona? Like the beer? Yeah, people boycotted that shit because it was too similar to the name of the virus. So they're like, no, we're not going to buy the beer anymore. Seriously, they took a substantial tank in profits.
Can we not say it? Can we not say the name?
I mean, it used to screw up your SEO once upon a time, but probably not anymore.
Yeah, they've changed the.
I don't care either way because I don't monetize my shit, so that's fine. But like either or, yeah. No, that people are definitely boycotted for less. And as to the add it to the Fox lore thing, you gave me an idea, Yasha. I almost want to add like a Fox lore page now on my fucking Discord.
I have like 50 billion.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Did I say he or she?
I have 70 alternative accounts.
Right.
You listen.
Did a new person join the call?
No, legitimate question though. Did I use a pronoun? I don't think I did, but
you just said the name, so I
Yasha. Okay, fair enough. Okay. But I
have 5 billion alternate accounts because I hate people being able to connect multiple accounts just by looking at them. I have a super secret archive of our own account where I post fan fiction and nobody knows about it. That's amazing. Nobody knows the name and I'm never sharing.
Oh, that's fair. But yeah, no, like I want to make like a fucking lore tab now that goes into my, like, I just want to have like a tab of random bullshit now in my Discord server and it'll be funny. And I'm just gonna have like a lore page where whenever that's something like that somebody puts in that they just want to, all right, cool, it's canon in the lore now. This happened.
Do it.
And I'm gonna make it like specifically only postable by like mods and shit, like specifically my groundskeepers and mods. That'll be funny. I think that I would have a nice ball with that. Every now and again, I'll put a troll post in there and see if anybody's paying attention.
Oh, jeez.
I'm already like running out of things to talk about. Like I'm looking at my list. And
I mean, fair enough, but we're starting to get into like the long term of things, right? Because we're starting to bridge into my closing question as well with it. But yeah, so in the long term now, because that's going to be the fun one right there. How things will wind up developing. Because again, oh man, machine learning, dude.
Yep,
it is.
Wait. When it goes to deep learning and neural net networks, that's it, man. That's culture transforming shit right there.
Kenny, you don't know shit. You don't know that I'm a sub. Shh.
What?
What?
Interesting.
Wait.
Add that to the lore.
Add it to the lore.
Anyway, I will just say straight up. Oh boy, I will just say straight up. I will not be able to help much with this part because anything outside of like the next 5 years just doesn't exist in my brain. It straight up doesn't.
Come on.
I'm not even kidding.
Throw something silly. What do you want to see 50 years from now?
I don't fucking know, man. I don't
fuck any actual logic or anything that goes into like world rules. Like if you want to see a fucking like an AI stripper or something, let me know. I want to see. See into your mind. What do you see in 50 years?
You mean VTubers?
I don't know. I fucking listen, I have time blindness. I can't tell you how long ago anything was. I can't tell you when something's gonna happen. Time is not real to me.
Time is a social construct.
Yes,
yes. My friend and I literally joke that I fucking time skip because sometimes, listen, October felt like fucking years to me, and I don't know why. It just did. I thought years had gone by in October.
I made a comment today where I even like just that 2 weeks past. I was like, "What the fuck? Wasn't it just Halloween? Like, I don't understand why I'm in the middle of November right now and we're doing this podcast. Like, I could swear we were." I lost.
Corb, you're like a Fallout PC, right? You sit down on a stool for 24 hours to get to
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. There is a level of psychology to that, by the way, which I did touch into before, which is a really fun one. A lot of that can be dependent on X. Have you been a busybody for the last 2 weeks?
Yes.
That'll usually be it. If you don't have a milestone or a marking thing that is something that's truly memorable, that's something that you did, and you're hitting the grind. This is why everybody says that the 30s fly by when you hit 30. It's usually when you have your obligations, your kids, your families, etc. If you don't have those milestones in between of when you decided to just do something for the fuck of it, it feels like it flies by.
There are only 33 days left in the year, by the way.
That's crazy talk.
Why?
Why would you do that to me, X? Ed.
Yes. Wait. No, there's 35.
Your brain took a shit, sir.
Learn to count.
37. There's 37 days left. There you go.
No.
Fact check that again.
I'm not
Skipping
totally
time
sure
equals
you're in
sleep.
the same.
That is true.
Are you in the same world as us, or?
I think Ed slipped into a pocket dimension. He got dragged out of this world by fucking SCP-106, the old man. He's now in an alternate universe.
There's 47 days left.
Correct.
There you go. 50 years from now, everyone is a VTuber. We don't need proper jobs anymore, as technology has long since made 90% of them not required. Some people work for fun, but people just vibe mostly.
Whenever you get like an AI-generated like VTuber, like, dude...
Okay, first of all, people are already starting to try to do that. But second of all,
let's go.
You jest, but my whiteboard at my job, at my desk, literally says, even your wife will soon be a VTuber. I shit you not, that is on my whiteboard.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I mean, people still make jokes. I got friends of mine that are still like fucking DMing me and they're like, yo, when until you become a full-on VTuber? Do it, pussy. And I'm just like, dude, listen, I don't have the capital to... I mean, I do, but I'm not going to.
Save it for next... Save this for next week.
Oh, I know. We'll dive into that one next week. X, we have a character that you're going to wind up bumping into next week. Shit. It'll be great. Brendan, I love you. Oh my god, we need to do some more ranked grind, by the way. And I need to drag Kinney as our other support so that she can be a backline warrior with you while you decide to fuck people up with Soldier 76. It'll be a fun time.
Sag. Okay.
We need to drag her ass back up to gold. Carry me down. Bro, you're the one who carries me. What are you talking about? You're the carry.
You need to play comp. I've never played comp before.
Just do it. Honestly, just do it. Even if it's bad, don't worry about it. Just play comp. People are going to be bitchy, though, is the thing. So you might want to, like, queue with other people and kind of turn off.
Anyway, we're doing a show here.
The universe, it sings to me. But yes.
We're doing a show here.
Absolutely. No, that's fair. Sorry, somebody talked about Overwatch now, and I'm like, wait, Overwatch? Overwatch? Where? Where is the Overwatch?
You were the one who talked about Overwatch.
I know, but listen, I saw Brendan and it made me think of Overwatch, okay? Yeah, you literally saw the hamster fall out of the fucking wheel right there. Holy shit. Anyway. But yeah, so the long term of AI art and what it is going to wind up doing to shit, though, I definitely know that that's going to fuck up things in, like, big business, though, in the future, for sure. We're not there yet, but wait until they have better ways of being able to actually define how to work on things. Because, again, we're just using, like, tags for things at the moment, and then you just generate it and see where it goes.
Yeah, we're just on the crest of deep learning. Is once we get to neural networks, man, I think this is where it really is going to start. If they're going to have to slow it down, like I honestly think there's going to be a point where the governments around the world will say, hold on, like you got to slow the roll, and because we got to catch up with law, there's going to be a bunch of structural stuff.
Of course, it's still going to keep going in the backgrounds. By the way, just saying, it's not going to stop. But
oh yeah, Kenny, I did see that actually. Kenny, that's a good point.
It's going too fast. Like it's going. You understand? Like even the AI. Like I've been following. I've generated almost 10,000 images in 3 months. Like this is on Midjourney. Like I have gotten invested in figuring out just from prompts. Like how is this shit working? You know, working like word to word. Like seeing how it's rendering things. How it's like taking styles from different artists and then mashing them up. Like what does it take from other? Like it's learning something from somewhere. But they just released version 4 of Midjourney, and it's like another evolution. And we're talking every month. There's an like there's some advancement in this AI art space where I go, holy shit! Like this is only 3 months in, man. Since like most of these have like been like let's call them consumer. Like they used to be invite only, and then now it's kind of opening itself up. There's free versions, there's paid versions, but we're talking about it's just the start, man. And it's already every month there's an evolution to this.
Oh, absolutely, and people are fucking flamed about a lot of things too, man. Oh. I'm also going to go on a little bit of a tangent here as well, too, because Kenny was talking about the DeviantArt opting people into the AI art generator thing.
I just caught the wind of that yesterday, but
here's my take on that one. Okay, here's a little bit of a hot take on that one. I will never tell somebody that they're not allowed to be mad about that kind of a thing, because they should be clear about that shit. But at the same exact time, I am one of those types of people where I know how shit works with information, especially on the internet, when it is saved anywhere. I'm the guy that was shouting at people in fucking Minecraft where I was like, if your password and your fucking username is saved on a database somewhere, then it can be stolen. Stop telling me that it can't be stolen, no matter how encrypted that it might be. That's how I stand with shit, because that is how cybersecurity is. You just need somebody who is fucking dedicated enough. And this is told to me from a man who was my computer advisor in community college, who worked for the fucking Pentagon, specialized in decryption and data tracking, okay? And he's just flat out would just tell people where he was like, so first thing about cybersecurity, your files are not safe unless you completely unplug your machine from the wall, find a hole in your backyard and throw your machine in there, and even then somebody could dig it up.
I mean, the thing with that sort of thing is it's sort of like the argument of like, you don't want someone to rob your house, don't have any doors or windows.
No, absolutely. It's a stupid argument, yeah.
It has to be vulnerable in some way to serve its purpose, is a thing. So at the end of the day, everything is like that. Not just cybersecurity, just fucking everything in general. There is no way to be 100% safe. The whole point of cybersecurity, from someone who is currently getting into the field, is to minimize the risk. There's no 0% risk ever, you know?
Absolutely. And that's the thing, like, because I'm kind of just waiting for the point where eventually, like, some of the shit that I have that winds up getting leaked, you know? Because, like, as somebody, especially if you're streaming and all that other stuff, like, the images that I'm using here, the images that you use here, you took a risk sending me your fucking PNG files, both of you guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because that can be leaked. That is now in another area where that could be leaked. It's kind of just the nature of the beast when it comes to that stuff. And I'm not going to say that, again, that you shouldn't be mad that a fucking company without your permission opted your shit into a search engine to be used elsewhere, though. Boy. But I just always have that shit in the back of my mind because I am a goddamn skeptic about everything online to a concerning level.
Yeah, and part of that was likely in the terms and conditions, right? Because you're using the site as a platform and a service, and so you're putting your art there, and so for them to cover their own legal asses legally,
it probably was in a term somewhere that was really weirdly,
It's probably in the terms of service. So who knows? That might be perfectly legal for them to do.
And if it wasn't, then somebody will find it. And then it will wind up being a thing. And we'll see where that goes later, because as we all know, big companies get sued and they totally get their fucking comeuppance. But, like, no, I absolutely do agree with you. I absolutely agree with you.
They covered their asses, you know, but it's like morally
to do that.
Morally, was it right to do?
No, well, I mean, it's like why I still haven't updated my Audacity, man, because apparently they actually like save the shit that you record in Audacity in case it winds up needing to be relevant for what they considered to be. This is a thing that Mudahar did for some ordinary gamers, where like there was a update for the newer Audacity downloads. I'm still using an older version of it right now for this reasoning, where they will hold on to the shit that you record just in case it winds up being relevant for an investigation.
Oh, fuck that.
For whatever, like if they're trying to like figure out some kind of illegal shit that you're doing. I don't know if that's even going to affect anybody in the future. I don't care, but I'm like, yeah, no, fuck that. I'm not going to use the newer update.
Yeah.
Like,
hang on, Corb's going to say something.
Go ahead.
Yes. First of all, I wanted to make a joke about Audacity. I think you're audacious enough. Don't worry about it, Fox.
Thanks.
Anyways, now that I've gotten that out of the way, it's not as funny because the timing wasn't good, but you know what? I'll take it. But for the opting into DeviantArt thing, I brought this up earlier, and I will be softer about it now because I said it very bluntly before. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's morally that wrong at the end of the day because, first of all, it's already out there publicly. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the doors and windows thing, like it's already out there. People can just put it there. But the other thing is that with AI art generators, they're not taking the thing that you made and just putting it there or even changing it.
It's being slightly modified.
It's like you take the slightest bit of it and then put it into the thing. It's like, you put a drop of water in something. At the end of the day, like, a drop of water is nothing in the ocean. And at the end of the day, I feel like it's not really stealing. So is it really that morally much of an issue? Especially because artists as a whole just do that. Yeah. Like you just take inspiration from other things, and that's just what the AI is doing.
Brendel just said that.
Yep, which is really funny. Yeah, exactly. Because we went into that one earlier, where it's like that is quite literally what artists do is get inspired by another thing. And Brendan is a musician, by the way, too. Just for anybody who is unaware, by the way. I will absolutely shill the fuck out of Brendolf, by the way. Love you, BB.
Yeah.
But no, he definitely was in like the music scene with that shit. So you're well aware of that shit and having an inspiration of like an artist or this. I mean, you're heavily inspired by fucking. I don't know if I would consider you heavily inspired by Toriyama, I guess, but definitely Chrono Trigger. Fucking to you, the best game of all time, and I would say definitely really high up there for sure. But like, absolutely, like using that as an inspiration for something that you do, like it's just something that's very normal with art in general.
And
literally learn how to steal musical ideas. Yeah, exactly. Steal like an artist, baby.
I mean, the thing is, like,
awesome.
I think it would be a bigger deal if it was heavily referencing the art. Like, the distinction you make with actual artists, if you can, like, layer it over each other and they're, like, pretty much identical, aside from the lines being slightly different, at that point it's stealing and definitely something you need to opt out of. But the thing is that you cannot put the two things together at the end of the day. Like, you take an artwork that was put into the large database and you separate that and you look at all of the different, like, outcomes. They're not something that you can eat. Like, if you just showed those two people, those two images just outright, and we're just like, all right, are these the same thing? They're not going to say they're the same thing unless they just happen to turn out similar, which can happen, but like, so can just normal artwork. I could just end up drawing something really similar to my friend. It's because we had a similar idea.
That's happened in music before too, as well, where people will accuse somebody of stealing something and they just literally didn't. There's option. There's times where it has happened where people have stolen shit and riffs from other people, but like there's other times where it literally didn't.
I don't know shit about music stealing stuff, but don't get me started on the art community about fucking style theft or like pose theft or fucking palette theft.
Style theft.
It's dumb.
Style theft doesn't exist.
It doesn't. None of those things exist. But
and the accusers stole it first. Yep.
The thing is, what I'm trying to say with the generation thing is that it's so distinguishable from the inspiration that I don't think it can be, like, I don't really think there's anything morally wrong with using it in this wide. Don't get me wrong, if it was like two images that they were taking and it turned in like it, at that point I would be like, okay, that's heavily referenced. And at that point, like, even in normal art, it's kind of wobbly if you should credit that or if you need to ask first and stuff like that. But at the point where it's just like an inspiration, the only difference is that there's a machine doing it at that point. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like it's something you can be mad about. I'm never going to say somebody can't be mad about something. Mm-hmm. I get mad about dumb shit all the time. Not saying this is dumb. I'm saying the things I get mad about are dumb.
The difference between you is you get mad about shit and you're not going to like expect that the world needs to change for the anger that you gain from a thing. There's a big difference when you take the collective in mind with it.
Oh yeah, I fucking despise towels with all of my heart, but I don't expect the world to abolish towels. Don't get me started on them, by the way. Ed, I said don't get me started. I will not shut up. We can talk about this later.
Oh no, I remember telling you that. I remember you telling me that. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
Towel? Something you don't like the feeling of a nice warm towel out of the dryer?
I hate towels so much. They are the worst thing on this planet. But again, I don't expect other people to abolish towels for me. So I think it's valid to be angry about it, but I don't think there's really like a moral or legal ground to stand on there where you can just like objectively say it needs to not be done.
Yeah.
I think because you're like clinically insane for hating towels.
You're wrong. No. We will talk about this later, and I will stand my ground. This is an opinion I've held for almost the entirety of my life.
Oh my god, Brandon, why?
Corb hasn't taken a bath nor a shower.
I have. No, I use them. I just fucking hate them.
Towels are only good when you're 2 months in without washing it. My lord, sir.
No, I just hate towels every time.
You gotta really make sure that it soaks in a lot of what it means to be you inside of that towel. Listen, there you go.
I have to use the towel because there's no real replacement for it, and I fucking hate them.
Paper towels. There you go.
Not when you're
air dry.
You just want me to put myself in a fucking like air dry?
You know one of those the hand dryers that like blow like pressure air in your hand. Corb just gets a big one of those and just puts it on his ceiling.
Yep, that is interesting. That fucking organ donation is by default opt-in in the UK. Interesting.
The difference with organ donation is that is a literal piece of your body that you own that objectively, and there's no real way to creatively change that because that's not something that's like a creative thing. It's literally just part of your body, you know.
Actually, it is a fact.
It is just I feel like that's kind of an objective thing. I guess it's subjective.
There will be a philosophy argument to be made depending on particular ideologies. I'm not going further into that one. You know where I'm going with it.
I think there's a big difference between taking somebody's kidney after they die and putting someone's art into a big pool of a bunch of generated stuff and taking inspiration from it. Like I said, there's no reason you can't be mad about it. Like, you can be mad about it. I just don't think there's a ground to stand on as to why they can't do that or why they shouldn't morally. You know, it's like it's one of those things where you can be mad about it, and if enough people are outraged by it, they can change it. But I don't really think there's like an objective or even like a heavily leaning towards subjective thing where you can just decide that can't be done. You know.
I understand, Kenny. That yes, consent is like for all things. Consent is important, right? Mm. But like in this instance, though, you're putting the stuff. They're putting your art out publicly on a forum, pretty much, right? And depending on what the TOS says, that doesn't matter. By you posting it, you already gave consent in some case. Depending on the TOS is, I don't know what the TOS on DeviantArt is, but you know what I'm saying. Like, for all you know, you already gave it. You just don't know it.
Exactly.
Can you just ask me so that I can go and grab my makeup bag first before you fuck me? That's all I'm asking.
Oh,
I mean,
but yeah,
consent too. But like, even then, like I said, people are already doing this. Like, you know, if I went on someone's DeviantArt page, I looked at their drawing and I was like, I want to draw something based on this. As long as it's different enough and I've changed it enough, I don't need their consent to do that.
Nope.
I'm still using it for my own thing.
With fair use doctrine, you have transformative rights. At least in
the Millie AAR I showed you. That's different enough where it has attributes of Millie, but it's not.
Oh yeah, like it looks similar to her, but like, you know, it's not like I have an ownership of girls who wear big sweaters and have golden retriever energy. You know,
not everything you post on DA is copy. Yes, but that's it's what's in the terms of service, though.
And also, I don't think it matters that that even if it's in the terms of service, because at the end of the day, it's transformative rights use. Like, also, I can take part of Fox's YouTube video, and if I transform it enough, even if
I mean,
like,
I wasn't.
it doesn't matter.
You might have convinced me, to be honest. I was on another side of this, and I was no, I think you got me.
Yeah, if I took like clips of Fox videos and I could do a commentary over it. I transformed it because I'm criticizing.
And there are people who try to copyright that shit, by the way, too, and they fucking fail miserably.
Fair use, bitch. Fair use.
Yeah.
And like morally, I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah.
Like if I took pieces of Fox's
Shit,
video,
I feel like an
and,
asshole now.
The fucking like Fox's library of rant video coming soon to the RPG Fox whenever Fox does that.
Yeah,
if I took that
in 2025 when it comes up.
Yeah, in 2050, when he posts that, I have every right to take that video and show clips of it while I'm reacting to it if I wanted to argue his points, and I don't need to ask him to do that. And morally, I don't need to ask him. People do it all the time and nobody objects to it, And that's actually taking that thing and showing it in its raw form. If you're changing something so much that it's not even a piece of the raw form anymore, like at what point when you put red and blue paint together, it doesn't really count as the red anymore?
I think the big thing again too is it's also going back to like my original thought process with it is like attribution is important with that shit.
Yeah.
Like you did go ahead and you take my clips and you talk over it and all that other stuff, I would like to at least be like, yo, this is the video that I got it from. You know what I mean? That'd be nice. But that's that's also thrown into like that is by definition. Like I feel like that's just the general code that is unwritten that everybody should know about right there. Mm-hmm. Very few people would do that, and that's just usually just ignorance.
But even then, like you have the right to be mad about it, but technically there's not really anything.
Legally
again,
speaking.
that's using it in its raw form. Like I'm only I'm taking a source. It's like the fucking magazine journal thing. Like it's still the raw form of that thing. I don't own that raw form, and so I should give credit to that. It's just when it's not even that thing anymore.
Yeah.
Like when you take inspiration, it's not that thing. If I take inspiration from my friend's art and I draw something, it's not his art anymore because I just took inspiration. And I feel like when you're using the raw form,
that is true. Because now think of it that way. Like everything that you have ever taken an inspiration for, like imagine having to actually throw down like a fucking link to every base that you borrowed to save the image from off of Google Images every time you tried to draw somebody in a squatting position. Like
just drops a link to the Bible Amazon page.
I'm gonna get copyright claimed for my Discord username from taking it from a magical girl book.
Right? No, because that's where shit just gets a little bit like weird. I don't know. There's a weird gray area with that shit though too. Because like how do you fucking define that?
Until someone goes to court and gets sued for reaction videos, which is what hasn't happened, which is why everyone keeps on having false ideas around what's allowed for a reaction video and what's not, and what kind of fake rules they have around it. None of it is true. Nothing has ever gone to court to such a degree that has created objective rules around any of this, because not enough courts have decided with money, with cases.
Money.
Mm-hmm.
The almighty dollar.
Yeah. It's just, at the end of the day, it's like, how much transformation are you doing? I think is what matters.
Yeah.
Because again, with like the traced, heavily referenced, and then inspired by thing, like traced, you're just making a copy of that thing slightly tweaked. Heavily referenced, you're making a super similar thing, but you've added your own twist. And then inspired by, you've just taken pieces of that thing. And I really don't. If we wanted to like restrict people from taking inspiration from things, like it's gonna be a big fucking. I don't think we should do that, man. I think that's gonna be a lot to handle, and really, realistically, like
you can't. There's no
such thing as having.
Kitty read the TOS. Sag.
That is weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that is very weird.
Yeah, and I mean, just like at the end of the day, there's no such thing as having a 100% original thought, because there's been millions of years of things happening.
Head empty.
So. Are we really gonna go down that path? Because if we keep going down that path, we're gonna get to a point where you don't own anything that you've ever created.
It's like the thing that I heard ages ago. I think it was fucking Hellbent that said this one a while ago, and I still stick by that as well. I fucking hate the phrase original character. That is a thing. No, actually, that was Rubber Ross that said that. That's Rubber Ross.
I was gonna be like Hellbent. I'm like, really?
No, it wasn't Hellbent. That was fucking that was Ross from Game Grumps, because when you make a character, it's kind of implied that it's original. Like, you know what I mean? Adding in the word original into the name right there, OC, doesn't really, like, it's weird.
Original character,
that was like something
donut
that he said. It's
seal.
like he fucking hates the word original character. Yes.
I mean, I think OC is more just like. I mean, you're right in like the literal definition there, but I think how it's used and how it's interpreted in modern day, like it doesn't really use the literal definition at this point.
And that just goes back again to people having different fucking definitions for things. That
it's just
dumb
it's
and
just
it gets
linguistics.
contorted.
It's just linguistics at that point because like OC, you know, you usually use that to distinguish that the character belongs to you and not like some canon character that already
exists. And in a
exists.
universe you created or a spin-off of another universe that exists.
I think OC is appropriate to where you're creating a character within another universe already. He's like Project Moon. Like if I create like a little fixer guy, I think original character.
Yep.
No, I wouldn't. I might draw a line there because you're still creating a character inside a property that you don't own, right? So you can say it's like your.
It's an original character within another universe.
See, here's the funny thing: we've already begun within our immediate circle of 4 people here reached a contradiction between ideals, and that's the funny thing. That is the real funny thing with this stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's rough. It's rough because you're playing D&D, right? Yes, I mean it's my character, but I'm playing a game that I didn't create. But
well, actually, Millie is my character.
Oh shit!
Oh, then a Sona, yeah. So Persona if it's you, and then OC is if it's not you. Interesting.
Yeah.
The self-insert is when it is you.
Yes, you are the main character, Kenny. What are your traits? What kind of hentai protagonist are you?
She'd be like fart. She'd be like a fart.
Rather.
Brat.
Tag yourself. What hentai protagonist are you?
I am the main character.
Of what? Of what?
I am where the OC. Yes. What? Oh fuck. Now for the $1 million question too, because I'm gonna kind of scoot things over to this one. So we touched into some details of it though, but like just in general now, if you can kind of encapsulate a thought here, okay? What do you guys feel about the current state of technological growth? You know, everything that has to do with machine learning in and of itself, AI, all of this other stuff, and its advancement with time. And this is the philosophical side of it.
Name a consequence of the Industrial Revolution. Well, no. Also, Kenny said she's the ugly bastard with a huge harem of MILFs.
Fair enough. You know what? That don't sound too bad.
Now
that's the life to live.
Now that sound bite exists. Now do with what you will.
Yeah. Flip that.
Get on board or be a dinosaur. I like that better.
Those are your choices.
I'm gonna be a dinosaur.
That's a fair fucking assessment too. With the fucking that's Brendolph's answer to that, by the way, about technological growth. Get on board and be a dinosaur.
Because dinosaurs are badass.
Fair. No, why not be both, actually? I choose to be both. I want to be
a cyborg dinosaur?
Yeah. Oh bro, we're going into Ark land with this one. Oh my god. Brendan, did you ever actually get into Ark?
Rimworld moment.
I feel like you did for a little while. I know you went fucking hard in Rust, but like I don't know if you ever got into Ark. That was a time. Like 300 hours worth of it. Fair enough.
Also, I should also mention we are inching the 3-hour mark. Like,
yep. No, that's why I'm asking this question though. But like, any points or thoughts that y'all have about fucking machine learning? I pretty much have already stated my piece on it. I think it is fascinating. And I wouldn't say I'm apathetic to it, but like levandarss, I am just it exists, and I am merely a spectator.
I think it's interesting in the scariest way possible. It is like morbidly interesting for me.
It's like watching a car crash. You can't look away.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where it's gonna lead. But yeah, not fast enough.
I don't know. I'm weird about that kind of stuff. I have a tendency to mostly only have fears about things in the immediate rather than the future. I like to think in the exact present, you know. I am the master Oogway of fucking thinking practices, you know. That is why it is called the present. But it is a gift. But yeah, no, for real. I don't really care too terribly much to be like, all right, cool, well, this thing that's going to happen in the future, I need to be horrendous. Because, frankly, I think any prediction that you say about the future is never going to be fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? Not philosophy. When you say something and then it happens, there's a word
premonition?
for it. No, not premonition.
Foretold.
Prophecy, there we go. I don't think that anything that anybody predicts is going to be like prophetic about what is actually going to happen in the future. And I specifically like to take notes on that to be like, all right, cool. What did you fuck up when it actually happens?
That's a motherfucking Darkest Dungeon reference.
But yeah, like, I don't know. That's how I look at that shit, man. Is I don't really try to stress out too horrendously bad about things that are going to happen or that people assume are going to happen in the future, because I don't think that it's usually ever accurate. Like, there are points that are there, but then you wind up it's funny, too, because, like, even in intellectual works, right, where you have people that can read the future and they can predict things that happen, they even say that same shit, that, like, fate is a fickle bitch, and, like, they might have gotten a particular thing accurate about, like, whatever this said about what's going to happen in the future, but, like, it's never fully accurate. Like, it's so weird how they kind of incorporate that same fucking thing in fantasy works, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Storytelling, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's a lot of that overlaps into reality with things. People think a thing is going to happen, and then things actually hit, and you're like, all right, I don't know. It's fucking strange, dude. Like, with the way that I kind of look at the world, my beliefs and ideals and shit with things, I feel like things generally, somehow, for the most part, just weirdly seem to work out in a way. I don't really know how to explain that, or if that's even accurate to say, because other people would disagree with me horrendously. But I don't know. I feel like shit just happens, and then it just works out enough where shit is not absolutely fucking catastrophic. But I don't know. We'll see. I could be proven wrong at any moment. I don't think it's worth fucking stressing out over, though.
No, I think it's developing. I mean, it is fast. It is developing fast, but slow enough that it's reasonable, I suppose. Other stuff is moving just as fast. I mean, I think just culture in general is technology, right? It's all kind of relative at the end of the day. It's relative to the new generations that are born. Again, 20 years ago, people born, there was always an internet. I mean, there's an era, mine, where there wasn't. Like, we had to learn it, right? And then mine before mine, it's like there's no phones, right? Like, TVs weren't in color. Like, it's just... people will adapt into the new era, and I think that it'll just be another part of how we expect to consume, media. I think, we're already talking about Netflix, Amazon, Prime, Disney Plus. Like, we're already talking about streaming services doing recommendation engine stuff on us. Like, you don't think that's going to go to TV, and then that can't go to radio, and that can't go to, like, you're not going to need people to generate this stuff, man. It's just going to know what to do and how to read the audience and how to, it's just be automated, man. And so every person is going to have their own version of whatever they want, and that might be the new era. Like, what I mean by, like, radio, it might not be stations anymore in some future, right? It might be that something knows what you're generally listening to and what you fast forward, and then it's just going to start giving you the music you want all the time, right?
Yep.
And that's just going to be something you grow in, you live in. The new generations coming in, right? They're just going to have that. It's not going to be how did it start. They don't care. It's just what's the next step of this. They're going to ask, when is it going to be something else, right?
Yep. I'm just enjoying it too before it winds up turning into a corporate thing, of course, too.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to stop caring as much, because everything always gets corporatized in time.
Same thing with VTubing. Enjoy it while
it is corporate.
Yeah, well, enjoy all the indies. And speaking of indies,
I was gonna say, dude, V Shoujo exists. Like,
I
V Shoujo. Actually, no, HoloLive would be worse. That would be like the worst.
I met the co-owner at the con, dude. The V Shoujo.
Yeah,
it was cool. But
speaking of, I'm saying more specifically, like, the companies that run that shit is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I would never trash the creators. I think that's fine. The shit that they do, whatever, all good. I'm talking about the soulless, faceless corporation that runs everything that goes into there, that makes the contracts that you need to sign to do shit.
Right.
Fuck that. I'm very anti that shit in general, but I also know that, unfortunately, that is just a reality of the world that we live in with things, and there's no way of getting around it. So, might as well figure it out.
Also, Ed, what were you about to say? Speaking of,
I was about to shill next week, but never mind.
Shill next week. Shill next week.
Okay. So speaking of indies, we're going to be talking about a specific VTuber next week with Fox, myself, our guest, and then fourth person. I don't know if Jay agreed to do the next one, but yeah.
Yeah, will you be around next week, buddy?
Yeah,
Should be, but I'm.
because we do have Yokami said they
Yeah.
could be on standby if need be.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, we'll roll through the topic. I don't want to overstep like in territory that I'm less familiar with.
No,
So,
it's all good. It's just
yeah,
going to be
I think
mostly about the individual that we drag on board. It's going to be more of a
Okay.
funsies one and really off of
Okay.
the cuff, and it's going to be really, really, really improv, to be honest with you. We're going to be talking about really random shit. I'm just going to say flat out, though, too, that this person is quite... They are quite quirky. That's all that I'm really going to say about it. They have the perfect level of chaos that I am okay with. You know, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. I'm going to need to send you the Twitch link after this. Actually, Shay, might be a good idea.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, no, they are. They're interesting. That's all that I'll really say. It's like that weird usual like mix up that you get with a lot of VTubers in this day and age, like that mixture of wholesome but also lewd at the same exact time, and they will be open about that.
Next episode will probably be our most down bad episode, like probably ever.
It'll be interesting. I'm just going to continue to do me the way that I always do me when I am on these podcasts, and I'm just going to exist and enjoy the show. Y'all are here to provide entertainment for those beautiful people that are watching. Dance for me, monkeys.
And we are at the 3-hour mark. We hit it.
Phenomenal. Yeah. Anything else that y'all want to add in to this, to what we've been talking about here? I feel like I was going to do a recap, but I feel like everything was enough intertangled in beneath, like with each topic moving into the next one. It had a really good flow, weirdly enough, where I don't think that there's anything that kind of got lost in the wind moving over to something else.
Anything that for the good of the order, Corb? Since you're our guest, you can go first. You have anything to add?
Yes.
I don't really have much to say anymore. I think I've gotten most of what I have to say out. Because, I mean, I didn't really comment on the last thing. Like, how I feel about things moving forward, or how, like, what was the exact thing? How I feel about the current state, which is, as I've stated before, I don't like to think too hard about things that don't have concrete answers, and there is no objective answer to what I think about the, or what, like, the objective state of things right now are, considering it's still in such a developmental phase. So, my thought is simply, it is what it is, and I live by that. You know, how many it is what it is do I got left in me? Infinite. I don't like to think too far ahead, because at that point I'm just stressing about something I can't do shit about, because I'm one person on the internet. The fuck am I gonna do about how AI technology grows? I'll just see where it goes, and I'll get mad about it if it goes badly. You know, I have infinite rage, and because I'm short. So, like, you know, I'll just prepare myself if I gotta get mad.
I have a very simple philosophy where try to stay in the middle with things. Don't be apathetic, but by the same exact point, have awareness, pay attention, you know, to things. That's how I look at it. You live a short enough life as it is.
Give a shit sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah. That's really kind of the best thing that you can do as an individual with things, like, you know, and I don't know. There's a lot of weird shit with that, especially if you live in America right now, by the way. Woo, man. Yeah. But we're not going to fucking touch that one.
That's not.
Holy shit.
You gotta conserve your shits. You can't give out too many.
Exactly. You know? Only once every blue moon. Exactly on a blue moon. There was a red moon not too long ago, though. That was pretty good.
Ration your shits. Also, yeah, I saw that. It was very
I fucking forgot about it. I was playing Overwatch too hard. It's awful.
Oh man.
I went to the top of a building in the city to watch it. It was cool.
Oh, I wish I saw it, dude. I fucking
love
love those
photos
so
from the dude
much.
who I was with.
Oh.
Do you want to see him?
Please, yes.
I will get them after this.
But yeah, that is the idea for now. That's about everything that we really wanted to go over then, I guess, for the most part here. That about encapsulates everything right there. So that has been AI art for sure. And like I mentioned, yeah, we're going to go 2 for next week. We're going to do another one. And I don't know, depending on like what my school schedule looks like for this week and next week, I may do another bonus stream playing a game, maybe some Overwatch or something. I haven't decided yet because it's been a bit since I've done like legitimate streams. And I was loving when we were doing Darkest Dungeon for a bit. I had fun, like a lot of fun doing that stream. And I'm like, man, I miss doing this shit. Might even fucking do a random impromptu No Man's Sky stream at some point too, because I got a lot of good shit on that game now. And I want to showcase how I've progressed since the last time I streamed it. I actually really like that game. I'm going to be honest with you. I told you about this before, Shay. I never got on the fucking hype train with what people were saying originally with the game. So like, I didn't know what it was supposed to have. To me, it was just like, all right, cool. It's a new game. Yeah, it was expensive, but this game is wowing. It is pretty, and I enjoy the aspect of it. But there's not much to do at the moment, so I'm going to disappear for a bit and come back later.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't upset. But I understand those who were.
That's pretty much the game, yeah.
Yeah. But I love it. And yeah, I might do something like that. But next week, again, we're going to have another particular guest. Another artist, actually, too, if I'm not mistaken, as well. But should I name drop it or wait?
Wait.
Yeah, I'll wait then. That'll be fun. It'll be a very, very interesting stream, I think, though. But yeah, you'll figure it out when it happens, and that's going to be the whole theming of that stream. Is we're gonna talk about this individual guest and all this fun shit, and I'm gonna promote the fuck out of him. But before that, I'm gonna still promote the fuck out of our friend Corb here. So those of you who pop in for the Star and City stuff and all of that shit, yeah, this is of course Corb. This is Millie Knight. If you couldn't tell.
Hell yeah.
So anybody who missed that one for whatever reason, so. Yes, we absolutely appreciated you being on board here with us tonight, Corb.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. This is the most I've gotten to talk in like the past few months. So,
any time, my friend. Though I appreciate it, though. But I think that this went extraordinarily well. I was afraid that there wasn't too terribly much, but I don't know. I feel like this is this feels really organic with about the length
3 hours of
how
content,
things went.
my dude.
So, absolutely,
it is. But cool, right. Yeah, thank you very much as well for me, and it's always a good time to share some random thoughts with people, and never hurts to kind of just bounce ideas off, even if we don't come prepared. That's the rule that we all take.
We never really go fully prepared here, do we? Like that's kind of the point of Give No Fox. You know? Exactly. That's the whole fucking point, man. This is improv as shit. I love it. Anything else you need to add to this, Ed?
No, not really. I've said my piece already.
All right, phenomenal. Also, if anybody did miss that as well, too, Ed streams now. Not super frequently, though, but you might be able to catch a Darkest Dungeon or a Dead by Daylight stream as well, too, over on Ed's section. So, Ed, if you don't have your connections set up through your Discord, do it, because, you can probably just click him and find it through there if y'all want.
I don't, for personal reasons.
Fair enough.
Because that's true. But I don't have it for personal reasons. So
that's true. Can I sew you in the Twitch side though?
Just go ahead. I don't. Yeah, that's fine.
Everyone should follow Ed.
Yes. I'm looking at poor financial decisions right now.
I don't have you in the Twitch chat at the moment though, unless it's something else.
You follow. Just copy my channel link and paste it into the channel. I don't.
Fair enough. I gotta find it. Then is the problem. Fuck. Talk about unprepared, man. Woo-hoo!
Yeah. Stuff is life.
Don't worry about it. I was gonna sew you, but I couldn't at the fucking thing there.
While we wait, let me tell you a story real quick about. This is a true story, by the way. I went to the mall yesterday. I'm a Funko Pop collector. Yes, I'm. Yes. I know it's a bad rap. But
it is what it is. It is what it is.
Anyway, this one seller, there was a signed SpongeBob one by Tom Kenny for $400, and I considered it. The thought crossed my mind.
That's the boy right there. I can't put it into my YouTube side, I don't think, but I'm gonna try it anyway.
Oh, they made an Echo figure? No,
there you go. Yep, I can. I can as the broadcaster. You guys can't, though. Fuck your links. Links are scary.
Yeah.
Evil.
There I am.
Excellent.
But yeah, that's that.
With that sounds like a wrap. So we'll
absolutely.
Reconvene.
Also for other shows as well. There you go. And I always am going to do this as well. There you go, Kenny. Enjoy your show. There you go. So Brendan and Kenny right there. Y'all want to see a dude who is greasy as fuck at first-person shooter games, there you go. Brendan is fucking great vibes too. Like he's that perfect mixture of sweats and plays hard, but also enjoys the game at the same exact time. That's why I fucking started watching that dude a while ago. That was like original Siege stuff.
All I'm gonna tell you is take a shower. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, there's a lot of grease where that man comes from. There's pizza too, lots of pizza. Tell him when you go there and you see him live too that Fox said that you would give him pizza. There you go. Say that. Specifically say Fox promised pizza.
Oh man.
Yes, of course. Too. I need to put you in there as well. I didn't even put our fucking main guest in here. Where are my manners?
Wow.
There you go. There's your shout out.
I just stream when I want to, but like
it's fair.
Follow me just because you can, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Why not?
Worst case scenario, you pop in there and you're like, hey, you know, it's not for me, and then you pop out afterwards, you know? Yeah. That's how I look at that shit. Worst case scenario. Clicking the link in general is already good. Like, that's a good thing to do in general. So
yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, I just never stream again, and you forget I'm in your follows.
Wow.
I am an unpredictable entity of chaos. You never know when I will stream.
That seems to be a consistent theme with everybody that I bring onto this podcast.
Yes,
I'm going to be real with you.
Yes.
So I'm loving it. So that being said, no, I don't want to edit that. I'm going to look up my raid channel here. Who is streaming right now in my follows feed? I need to figure this out because I'm absolutely going to send you guys somewhere. I just don't know where. Mr. Brunswick is doing VR chat. What VR chat? Aether Chronicles. Nah. I mean, I could raid him, but
you just said no.
Yeah, I mean, it's more because again, I have a weird thing, dude, about raiding somebody with 2 people. Like, you know what I mean? When they're like a fucking 200 channel.
Just don't raid them.
It's something weird. Yeah, that's what I'm saying when I was talking about fucking Mr. Brunswick right there. It had nothing to do with the game. It was just more of a...
No, I'm telling you to just don't raid, then period. Just if we can't find anybody.
Oh, yeah, I don't see anybody who's smaller, unfortunately, then. So, all right.
I have a friend if you want to raid them.
Hey, yo. Name drop.
They're streaming. Hey, yo. Here, let me just type their name in chat.
All right.
Yeah, go raid them.
Oh, campfire crew. Gotcha. All right, that's how that is.
I got camp as well. What's camp doing?
All right, cool. They're playing Brutal Legend. Oh, Brutal Legend. Oh,
I don't know what it is.
Is it Brutal Legend? There's an umlaut.
Yeah, there's an umlaut right there. So I'm gonna start the raid right here. Y'all be nice and say hello and all of that fun shit. So I'm gonna send you that way. Yes, absolutely. Be nice, or Corb will smite you. Millie Knight will smite you, and you don't want that.
She will Millie Wen.
Millie Wen. All right. See y'all on the other side.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Farewell.
All right. Fantastic. I didn't open up the tab. Son of bitch.
All right. I'm playing Overwatch now.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I've stolen you for long enough. This is totally fine. And now I need my other fucking tab here. There we go.
So what I was looking at, well, you know, I was saying I was making